So guys, Peter Obi was in the coalition meeting yesterday alongside Atiku Abubakar and others in Abuja. The Northerners attended that meeting en masse. And guess what? Senator Abu is here to talk on why the North must unseat Tinubu come 2027. So guys, a whole lot is happening. He said the North was the region that gave him the majority of the votes, but he has left them. That he's allocating more money just to the Southwest. I mean, trillions upon trillions are being allocated to projects in the Southwest, and nobody is talking about the North. He now refers to Buhari as even a better president than the Tinubu's government, because Buhari carried everybody along, according to him. Now, I'm going to allow you to take a look at this video. Honestly, a whole lot is happening in this country. I mean, a whole lot is happening. Take your time, watch this video, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, take a look.
Well, the North is trying to advance political unity. The North is trying to advance political inclusion. That whosoever is the president of Nigeria is the president of everybody. You are not the president for the North, you are not president for the South, you are not president for Igbo or for Yoruba or for Hausa or for Fulani. You are the president of every Nigerian citizen. That's what North want to advance, and that's what we believe in. Unlike today, with Tinubu's administration, he has proven to be anti-North, anti-poor man. And look at the budget and go through the budget lines of the Ministry of Works, for example. You put up a project of 13 trillion naira in one place. What did you put in the entire North? Next to nothing. How do you run a country like that? And how do you want people to be happy? You see, the fact that someone live in suspicion, someone live in fear, it is enough to stop him from going to bed. Suspicion is enough. And look at the insecurity in the North today. The resurgence of insecurity. It is so bad. So the North is trying to bring up a coalition that can work for Nigeria. Someone will ask of Buhari, look at the Buhari's appointment. Minister of Works, from where? From the South. Governor Central Bank, from where? From the South, and Igbo man. So he distributed these things. Look at what is happening today in Tinubu's regime. We feel, and we strongly feel that he doesn't love the North, even though the North gave him 63.4% of his vote. 63.4% of Buhari's vote came from the North. How is it treated? It was very bad. But that's not the case. The case is about Nigeria. And the Arewa are coming together in collaboration with our brothers in the Southeast, in the South, and the Southwest. Are coming together to see how we can unseat him in 2027. And we are serious about this.
Nigerians are saying, by now, it will see a clearer picture of the coalition that comes in 2027. Virtually all the parties are down in the clashes now. On Sunday, you see that it's vibrant and alive. How do you intend to go about this?
Yes, in 2015, PDP was very vibrant. Why did their vibrancy took them? They lost. So when you think that you have decimated all other political parties and killed them, you think you are costing to victory. Nigerians are no longer the docile people that they used to be. So, as it happened in 2015, history will repeat itself. When they thought that everybody was docile, and they had the central bank, they opened the central bank vault, and they are wheeling out millions and billions of dollars. You can hear they gave one person 2.1 billion US dollars. In what name? In the name of buying arms. What did they do with the money? For campaign, 2.1 billion. In today's naira, that is over 40 billion. Right? Trillions. Okay. So they gave out this money in 2015 to help somebody to win election because they had the money. So if Tinubu and his APC think that because they have the central bank, they have our common money, our common heritage, our common resource in their pocket, and they want to use our own money to fight us, they will meet us. Forget about their dismantling political parties, their dismantling opposition. We are here waiting for them. When the time comes, they will know who is Northerner. They will know who are Nigerian citizens. And we are not afraid of their arrest. How many will they arrest? If people fought military, the military regime was forced to stand still. Nadeko was there, and other pro-democracy activists they there, and they fought military, and they bring democracy. Is it democratic government that we are afraid of when they are not afraid of military? They don't even know what is waiting for them.
In 5 days, President Bola Tinubu and his administration will have spent 2 years. And of course, that calls for a midterm report. But before we delve fully into the analysis of how he has fared so far, the key thing that many people are talking about are the thoughts around defections and what many people have inaccurately described as gravitation towards a one-party state. On Thursday, the president himself made allusions to the fact that he doesn't mind people coming to his party, to join the winning party, which is the only ruling party, and that he would like, for his party to clean them, sweep them clean, as I said. What are your thoughts on the president's submission, which came, of course, for the first time? And when are you returning home, if I may ask, given the fact that at some point in your career, you were closer to Asiwaju's camp than to any other camp, far before 2023. At what time will your own defection come? But more importantly, what are your thoughts to the president's submission on Thursday?
Steve, it's my pleasure to be here. And let me say that one of the greatest problems the leaders have is when you're ensconced, surrounded, and permit my choice of words, when you allow jesters and jokers to marinate you, to remove you from reality. Our president knows that gravitation to and towards a one-party state is against the intendments and the tenets of democracy. A true one-party state is absolutely the opposite of true democracy. And then when you allow political tendencies gravitate towards a one-party state, what you're having is dictatorship, despotism, and authoritarianism. And unfortunately, when they tell him that it means nothing, that it's okay to sweep them clean, it obviously means that those who are jesters around the president want to have an authoritarian rule over our country. But that has never happened. That can never happen. That will never happen, because Nigerians are naturally opposed to any one tendency conquering us. Our historicity is replete with instances of such. But let me say clearly here that, your question was bold and daring. I was part of the formation of the APC. I headed the presidential, one of the arms of the presidential campaign of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And you know my historicity in the APC very well. But let me be frank in answering some of the questions you threw at me. First, my politics has always been about the Nigerian people. It's country first. That's the movement I had. And when Buhari won the last election, and less than 2 years into that administration, the former Minister of Information told us that change begins with you. Whereas the campaign mantra in 2015 was change. I challenged it, and I said that wasn't what we told Nigerians. We told Nigerians that we're going to be the change. Leadership starts from the top. Mitt Romney, the former American presidential candidate, said that leadership must and should show the way. So when it became obvious that the APC was reneging on its commitment and promises to the Nigerian people, I became one of the fiercest critics of the party. And just before the 2023 elections, in 2022, I resigned from the party. I am not anxious to return to the party. I can only consider those issues when it's obvious that leadership thinks about the masses of our people rather than egocentric interests. There's so much sycophancy about what is happening. And I think that if there's any tendency that is jittery in today's Nigeria, it's the APC. Let me tell you, I'll give you 3 reasons why it's manifestly obvious that the APC is jittery, not necessarily the opposition. All they have done is to try to disorganize, defeat, disorient, and mess up the opposition. But in doing that, they actually have been the one who has been majorly jittery. It is less than 2 full years of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's presidency. And what you see is more of politics than governance. What you see is more of propaganda than leadership. And what you see, less than 2 years of his administration, is that the party is anxious to endorse a presidency that is largely uncharismatic. And I wonder why. The party is anxious to tell us that there's no vacancy, and they have foreclosed any tendency within the PDP, within the APC, asking for the presidential ticket. And you ask yourself why. It's about sycophancy. It's about unwillingness to allow for public debate and thought. It is about their unwillingness to allow for proactive opposition. Look at what is happening in the Labour Party, the PDP, and simply, Steve, it's about clearly the witch cried last night and the child dies this morning. And the president didn't hide it in his statement. He said, go sweep them clean. So he has admitted that whatever is happening in Labour Party and the PDP are chiefly the machination of the APC. But I want to say here that what should bother this presidency is about, it should be the well-being of the masses of our people. It shouldn't be about me, myself, and I. Those who are decamping and defecting to the APC are simply feathering their own nest. And that's what it is. Let them stop whining and gaslighting the Nigerian people. And I say this advisedly. In my home state of Delta, the governor, the former governor, and several of the political leaders decamped or defected to the APC. And their reason was simply that they want to attract federal presence. And you ask yourself, Steve, how much federal presence has Bulum or Zulum of Borno State attracted? You ask yourself what is happening in Benue State that is under the APC control. You ask yourself how much Wida Lagos that is under the APC control. And then when you understand that across our nation, 21 states governed, now 22 by the PDP, how well have they delivered on the promises of democracy? And when you understand the fact that insecurity has been democratized, Nigeria is unsafe and precisely unsafer than it was under Muhammad Buhari. When you understand the fact that the colossal failure that Muhammad Buhari represented has been beatified by the Olympic failure that the present watch represents, then you worry and ask yourself, why are people defecting to the APC? And then when you also understand, Steve, that constitutionally, you cannot, as a lawmaker, take the mandate of a party to another party without resigning from the party and resigning your position. Because under our law, the mandate belongs to the political party. The Constitution was silent and the Electoral Act about the right of a state governor. But what about the lawmakers? And then some will tell you that the PDP and some of the parties are factionalized. If you read the intentions of the Constitution and the Electoral Act, there is no factionalization in PDP such that people can leave the PDP to other parties. For instance, they have one chairman. The contentions are about the secretary of the party. And the party has come clear and clean about that position. So on what ground is the APC welcoming lawmakers who are defecting from the PDP? The APC has refused to uphold the Constitution. And those who denude, deceive, and work perfidy have refused to accept the fact that under our law, some of these defections to the APC are absolutely illegal and unconstitutional. And the president who swore to an oath to protect the Constitution should be the lead defender of the Constitution. And he should say to these people who are defecting, go first, resign your position, and then come join the APC. But it doesn't matter, because what we're gradually drifting to is authoritarianism. What we're gradually drifting to is despotism. And when the chairman of a party, Ganduje, said to Nigerians that they don't mind if we drift to a one-party state, and the president just a few days ago confirmed that it doesn't matter to him. He's ready to sweep the parties clean. Then you and I should be worried. But let me say, Steve, so that I allow the next question, that what is very important as we go is the fact that the political class has unwittingly created a deep divide, a deep chasm, a deep chaos on our political amphitheater, such that it is now simply a battle between the people and the political class, such that the Nigerian people will understand that it is simply all man to himself, such that the Nigerian people will understand that for the political class, it's simply about me, myself, and I. And so as we progress, Steve, it is better not to agonize, but to organize, to show to the people in power that true power belongs to the people. And I want to say clearly, Steve, that I'm happy and excited that this is happening, because ultimately, the masses of our people, the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, will soon show to the political class that the power of the people is stronger than that of the people in power.
Very much for that submission. Now, I find that very interesting. As you said, the power of the people is stronger than the people in power. However, one argument that has been made is that the opposition is very weak and has not been able to rally around any party or any candidate. As you know, it says in law, if you come to equity, you must come with clean hands. And as PDP members are defecting to the APC, we also have Labour Party members defecting to the PDP. And it seems no one has raised this constitutional challenge. So do you believe that the problem here is not just the APC's strength, but also the weakness of the opposition itself?
Let me say clearly, this was a very smart question, that the problem is not necessarily about the opposition. And I say this for three reasons. When we began the process of forming the APC in 2013, strongly the tendency that led to that pressure was the people. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then a leader of the effort to create a new party, was pressured by the people for an effort to ensure that the PDP, in its characteristics, does not govern or rule Nigeria for 60 years. It boasted that it would do that. And so there was a groundswell of public discontent. The masses said, never ever again. And so the political class, the APC, the ACN then, under the leadership of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the CPC under the leadership of Muhammad Buhari, and several other tendencies coalesced into forming the All Progressive Congress. Now, very importantly, in line with your question, what led to that was a groundswell. It started from Ojota in 2012, January, when we said no to the removal of subsidy by former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. As we progressed, the masses' discontent snowballed into an effective need for a coalition to defeat the PDP. And this was, you and I talked this morning, very importantly, that same groundswell is stronger than ever was. The people are saying never ever again. They are the real opposition. And so as you and I talk, you see that there is an effort by the political class, the people in the opposition, Atiku Abubakar, Peter Gregory B, El-Rufai, Rotimi Amechi, and several others, Shakara, Kwakwansra, and co., to form a broad-based coalition. And that is in saying no to what is happening today, because we now have an age of sycophancy we've moved from Jonathan being corrupt to Buhari making Nigeria synonymous with corruption to what I call a rogue state. Look at the budget, about 7 trillion padded into the budget. Look at what is happening everywhere. So it's largely a rogue state. And that's why those who benefit from the tendencies of a rogue state are anxious to endorse and foreclose the chances of the party producing somebody who can care or who will truly care for the people in 2027. The APC has simply said, we're a political party interested in power and we don't care about the masses of our people. Now the opposition is galvanizing. Adesua, in 2013, the effort of the opposition as we have today is stronger than what we had in 2013. I was part of the process of the formation of the APC. Now, what is important is to find a leader, a linchpin for the opposition. And this process is ongoing. The truth is that the APC has become its own greatest enemy. Let me say, in so many ways, everything it does presently is largely undemocratic. You see the words coming out of Akwa Ibom State where the governor is saying that if you're not moving with me to the APC, you have to resign. Then you move to Delta State where there was a celebration, some fiesta of sorts, of the movement of the people from the PDP to the APC. And then you saw the former governor of Delta State, my brother, my senior brother, attempting to sell the APC to the people in his community. And they said, no, this is not what we know. This is not the party we believe in. And anxious to give a semblance of public acceptance, the APC has refused to govern. They moved from a converge in Northwest, addressed by the governor of Kaduna State, to a converge in Abuja, addressed by several governors, to another one in Lagos, addressed by the governor of Imo State, who has largely underperformed. And they call themselves a progressive party. So as you and I talk, what is important is to understand that the chief opposition to this government is the masses of our people. The political parties are reorganizing and coalescing to form a strong opposition. But importantly, if there is any movement or party that is jittery in today's Nigeria, is the APC. That is why they have left governance to continue to tell us about their ability to form a one-party state, to continue to tell us about no vacancy in 2027, to continue to tell us in 2025, before their midterm, to continue to tell us that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has performed very well. This government is high on propaganda and very low on governance.
All right, Chris. Let me ask you 2 questions. First will be on some part of the issues that you have mentioned. You used the word psychophancy, and you have used 2 PDP governors. One has moved to APC, the other one is on his way. As an example, your governor in Delta State, Sheriff Oborowore, and then the gentleman whose prefix is a pastor, Umoeno, who is threatening his appointees to say, move with me or you resign. But then do you also reserve the same word and description for many of the Labour Party lawmakers, particularly in the National Assembly, who are also defecting in droves? Do you reserve the same word for them, given the fact that a lot of people thought in 2022, late 2022 and 2023, that maybe a spark of hope and difference will be recorded through Labour Party. But then it's now looking as if it was just a platform to get closer to power and to the perks of office. The other question will be to set the tone for the barrage of discussions that will now come on the midterm report of the president. Will you have, what 2 worst performance indicators of this administration will come to your mind? 2 key areas where you think that the government of Tinubu has not done well at all? And will you have another 2 that you think that, let's leave politics aside. At least in 2 years, there are areas where you can say that this government has not at least attempted to add to the lives of people. Many people might want to mention the fact that they cleared the IMF loan, or that things, might be looking better in some areas. I don't know, but I'm asking you 2 that you think will be the worst, and 2 that are at least promissory. Your thoughts, Chris Nwakobia?
Steve, that question sounds like a PhD thesis, but I'll attempt it. Very importantly, with Labour Party, I would say that when this 10th Assembly, I'm sure, began, Steve, remember that the presidency went into some sort of profligacy. They went buying brand new SUVs to the tune of 150 million per unit of vehicle. And some of us who, as it were, in the Labour Party criticized it. We said, no, that ain't right. We said to the leadership of the party and to the members of the National Assembly that they could do better. That if they had insisted and gone ahead to present the tendencies, as it were, in the public space, Nigerians asking for responsible and responsive leadership more than opulence and profligacy, that it would serve well. A few members of about 5 persons refused those vehicles. Most of the people, members of the Labour Party who were in the National Assembly, received those vehicles. And we said there is no strong lines demarcating or differentiating the tendencies of the Labour Party representatives from that of the PDP and the APC. Steve, I'm not about to deceive or denude the Nigerian people. There is largely a problem with our political class. For most of them, it's about me, myself, and I. But we also still have a few individuals who, I do not want to call names. I'm tempted to call a few names, but I won't call names for 2 reasons. The fact is that we expect the National Assembly to be much more frontal, effective, efficient, and effectual in the defense of the interests of the masses of our people. They may not have done that effectively. As it were, Steve, for that reason, I do not want to call a few names about, but we know that there are people who are in the Labour Party who are still very proactive, profuse, and profound in the defense of the interests of the masses of our people. But has the party done so well at the National Assembly in defending the interests of the people? The answer is a no. And I say this without equivocation. And that is because at the leadership of the party is someone who has a major question mark, not only on his name, but on his conscience. And I'm talking about Julius Abure. But extending to the issues that affect today's discourse is how can we help move our democracy forward and make leadership responsible and responsive to the people. Steve, we're doing everything under the leadership of Nnamdi Usman to make the Labour Party responsible and responsive to the people, and we shall prevail. We're doing everything to ensure that our representatives in the National Assembly, who are still card-carrying members of the Labour Party, stay committed to workers' rights and stay committed to ensuring that leadership benefits the masses of our people. We're doing everything. For those who have decamped, who also have not, as provided by the Constitution, resigned their role in the party and resigned their position in the National Assembly, because as it were, until very recently, you can't say effectively, Steve, that you have factionalization in the party. You know, the Constitution is clear on how you define factionalization in party. It's about leadership and ideology. If you don't have a factionalization in terms of tendencies in leadership and ideology, you can't simply say that you're taking a ticket you got from the people on the altar or the flag of a party to another party. Mr. President should retrace his step and help build our democracy by telling those who have not resigned their position in the National Assembly, as it were, to return their mandate to the people and have INEC conduct a by-election. You don't take another party's mandate to the APC. And now those who have done that, it's a major question mark on their conscience. But very importantly, Steve, what bothers me most is the second leg of your question. And that was why I called it a semi-PhD thesis. Worst performance indicators, insecurity. The government hasn't done fantastic in the area of security. I listened to the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhuri Badu, tried to gaslight, blindfold, tried to work some perfidy and mendacity, tried to befuddle and benumb the public about the performance of this government. But the facts are clear. Everywhere Nigerians feel unsafer today than they were yesterday. The governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, has cried out. He has said clearly that they are the Haramis, Boko Haram in government, Boko Haram in the party, Boko Haram in leadership, and Boko Haram in the armed forces. He didn't mince words when he said that. And clearly, insecurity has been democratized across our country. Northwest, northeast, north central, southwest, southeast, south. What you have is a laissez-faire. What you have is an orgy of violence across our country. People are being kidnapped for ransom. Marauding herdsmen are surrounding villages and dishing out human barbecues and things. Everyone is in trouble. So, Steve, the government hasn't done well at all in the area of security. And then second, national cohesion. And I mean strongly the tendencies of this government to being fundamentally nepotistic. Permit my choice of words. Fundamentally separatist. Permit my choice of words. Fundamentally ethnocentric. Permit my choice of words. And what do I mean? Look at the appointing protocols of government. You find out that almost every appointment that has to do with the economy of our country is under a particular ethnicity. Chapter 2 of the Constitution provides for the federal character normative, particularly Section 14. It is to ensure that there is a cohesion of sorts, love and understanding. We criticize Muhammad Buhari for failing to do that, but this government is worse. This government has Olympic failure in uniting Nigerians. And this government continues to do that because court jesters and sycophants continue to nudge it on the wrong path. So this government must retrace its step and ensure and understand that Nigeria is a country of several diversities in religion and ethnicity. And then this government must also understand that the primary responsibility of government is the protection of lives and property. This government must do strong in these areas if it wants Nigerians to applaud it.
Any two, Chris, that you think...
asked me...
Yes, just very quickly, because we've run out of time. Yeah.
That I think are laudable.
Yes.
That I think are laudable.
Yes.
Yes, I think that, and I said this advisedly, so many people will not be happy, but the truth is that I see a bit of effort in the area of the economy. They may not have been very consistent, but there is a gradual rebound. Consistently, almost in the past 6 months, we have seen Dangote reduce the price of fuel 5 times. Consistently, we have seen the disappearance of fuel queues and the likes. And I think that I would love to see the Naira gain more value. I would love to see a very consistent and effective and effectual economic policy. But they appear to be doing a few things right in that sector. And then, importantly, the second leg to that question is almost a bit difficult. But let me say that I see my brother and friend at the level of national orientation doing some yeoman's job in trying to build national cohesion. But there's an opposite. The man who is at the helm of affairs doesn't seem to care what the Igbo man thinks about governance. Doesn't seem to care about what the Fulani or the Hausa talks about governance. But Issa Oniru seems to be committed about ensuring that we think Nigeria and talk Nigeria. So this government must attempt to have some harmony and some understanding of sorts. But largely,
All right.
Steve,
Yes.
largely at this war, our country needs a leadership that is committed to ensuring that we'll give Africa a sense of leadership. A leadership that is interested in ensuring that we make life better for the masses of our people. A leadership that is committed to the green, white, green.
Definitely.
Very largely and unfortunately,
Definitely.
this government is more interested in politics than thinking about Nigeria.
All right. All right, Chris, it's not such a difficult PhD thesis after all, and I think that your submission has been fair. And kind words to Larry Saunilu, doing wonderfully well at NOA. Thank you, Chris Nwakobia. We enjoy.
So guys, Nigerians are really out for Tinubu come 2027. For the fact that they are making people to defect and join the APC does not mean that they've won the election. I mean, Tinubu is going to face a whole lot of strong opposition, because he cannot just throw Nigerians into poverty and he just wants to have an easy ride to come back to Aso Rock. It's not going to happen. People are already tired. People are fed up. I mean, people are fed up because guess what? Nigerians understand that this is not what we want for this country. Whatever the APC is claiming they are doing, it's not what we want. Now, you know that Peter Obi came out to say that running for the presidency, he will not want to run after this election again because it will go to the north. And by the time he comes back, he's already 77 and he's not going to want to participate. Now, Sowore reacted to that. I'm just going, you know that Sowore has been attacking Peter Obi all this while. But let me read out what Sowore just put out. Sowore said, of course, you, Peter Obi, won't be running after 2027 because your foray into the presidential election arena is to help Bola Tinubu win his presidential selections. Since Tinubu won't run after 2027, your contract will be over by then. Scammer. You can imagine Sowore calling Peter Obi a scammer. Sowore does not even have any presidential quality in him, He doesn't. So he added the image of a blog post that says 2027 may be my last presidential run. Peter Obi. Now, let's take a look at some of the reactions Nigerians are reacting. Sowore calling Peter Obi a scammer. Hey God, this is huge. This is really, really so huge. I mean, I can't believe that somebody who wants to become a president is using this language. Nigerians, run for your life. Run for your life. I'm telling you. Now, after he posted that, let's take a look at some of the reactions. Let's say, playing opposition to Peter Obi can never help you achieve your goal of better Nigeria. That's if you are true to this revolution. And another person say, abeg, shift, make we see road. As if we don't know who Tinubu is using. Peter Obi is surely living rent-free in your fucking head. You see? Honestly, Sowore just attacking Peter Obi makes no sense. Makes no sense. It makes no sense. I mean, it makes no sense. Peter Obi and, okay, this other person says, this your ranting is becoming increasingly embarrassing. You are losing admiration day by day from people like me. What's your fixation with Peter Obi? How have you run out of ideas? You used to be smart mind. You used to be a smart mind. What changed? I have so many questions. Wow. This is sad. Fire down. Imagine the rubbish you are typing. Even a primary school people will know this is a lie. Blackmailer and chill. And proudly so. And this other person say, he's just a social media president. Honestly. Oh my God. Sowore is now saying that Peter Obi is being used by Tinubu. Can you imagine that? Comrade, I know you to be an activist, of course. I respect you on that. But your recent vituperations, this might be grammar, vituperations and aspersions to the person of Peter Obi leave so much to be admired. I suggest all the positions should have a unity voice, even though on different platforms. And this other person say, Oga, you are so shameless and act like a kid. You see? This person said, without being prejudiced, Peter Obi has revealed that he's working for Tinubu in different ways. But His followers are too blind to see this. This is what another person tweeted, helping Sowore. Instead of fighting, why not team up to fight Tinubu? This is so much, there is so much poverty, hardship, and all that in Nigeria. Can't wait to unseat the drug dealer. But when both of you fight among yourselves, you lose the trust. PO is not fighting, please. PO is not fighting. PO is not fighting. Take note, Peter Obi. Peter Obi did not even mention Showore's name, you know. He just said blackmailer in chief without attaching anybody's name. And Showore, I just pray PO does not react to any of this again. He's more than this, honestly. Showore, blackmailer in chief. Your shame, no, they shame you, SGO president. Even if you come back to this world 10 times, you cannot be compared with Obi. Finish, you can't. I used to have deep respect for Showore. I never knew he's a piece of wood in the river, which can never become a crocodile or a fish, even for 20 generations to come. Stinking coward. God bless the one and only Dele Farotimi, honestly. Dele Farotimi, cannot take this, honestly. Coming from someone who never made it past 0.1 in 2 elections, this is rich. Tinubu don't need Peter Obi to win. He had the structure, strategy, and coalition. Showore should focus on building credibility, not throwing conspiracy tantrum. 2027 is not Twitter pool. That is it. So, let me just leave it at this point. But you've seen it. Let me know your thoughts on what Showore is attacking Peter Obi on. Just drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Thank you.